Hey guys, it's Jennifer from Live, Laugh, Love to Read. So today I'm doing a book review on This Time Tomorrow by Emma Straub. So this book was, I had mixed feelings about this book. But I'm still giving it, I think, 4 stars. It kept me interested. It was pretty intriguing. This book is about time travel, but the first 4 or 5 chapters is not. So it doesn't go into it until later in the book. And the first part of it, I almost DNF'd it because I was like, not liking this book. But it's about time travel, and I like time travel, so I wanted to give it a chance, and I'm glad I did. So this book is about Alice. So it says, on the eve of her 40th birthday, Alice's life isn't terrible. She likes her job, even if it isn't exactly the one she expected. She's happy with her apartment, her romantic status, and her independence. And she adores her lifelong best friend, named Sam. But something is missing. Her father, the single parent who raised her, is ailing and out of reach. How did they get here so fast? Did she take too much for granted along the way? When Alice wakes up the next morning, she finds herself back in 1996, reliving her 16th birthday. But it isn't just her adolescent body that shocks her, or seeing her high school crush. It's her dad, the vital, charming 49-year-old version of her father with whom she is reunited. Now armed with a new perspective on her own life and his, some past events take on new meaning. Is there anything she would change if she could? So, like I said, I didn't think this book... I hit myself in the face. I didn't think this book got good until, I want to say it was like chapter 6 or 7. And normally I wouldn't give a book that much time. Just saying. But this book had good reviews, and other people, I want to say I read a couple other reviews that said that the first part wasn't that great, but then it got better. So I stuck with it, y'all. I stuck with it. And I'm glad I did. It was pretty good. This was a library book on their new book rack. And I'm going to give it 4 stars. So it's not really your typical time travel book to where there's a lot of sci-fi in it, because I don't like sci-fi. Just saying. But this, basically, the way that she is time traveling is, she goes in, okay, her dad's in the hospital, and they live in, I want to say Manhattan. They live in New York. Okay, so the house that her dad lives in shares she calls it a guardhouse, but to me it's like a gardening shed. Yeah. It's got all your typical, lawnmower and edger and your shovels and all this, but they all share it between 4 different houses, because it's like a row house, I guess. But anyway, she is feeling quite lonely on her 40th birthday. She gets really drunk, and she goes into the guardhouse, the gardening shed, but it's really, really full, and she takes everything out of it, and she goes in there, and she goes to sleep. And basically, that's how she starts time traveling. She has to be in that gardening shed, and it has to be empty. And I'm not going to tell you how she knows that. Because it was pretty good. I want you to read it. I've never read anything by Emma Straub. I think that's how you say her name. It was pretty good. I would try another book by her. I'm not sure if I'll like anything else, because I didn't particularly like her writing style all that much. And when she's talking about the time, she did do a lot of referring to New York and the subway and Central Park and all the things that happen in New York, and how people, when they're walking on the street, they don't really look at each other, all that. So that was pretty interesting to me. I've never been to New York. one day. I want to go there. Ooh, you know what would be really cool if I got to go to New York and do little free libraries? Ooh, that would be cool. Anyway, so that was cool to me and everything. But and then she made a lot of references to other movies and books that had time travel in it. So she referenced Back to the Future quite a few times. Peggy Sue Got Married. Time Traveler's Wife. Yeah, she referenced all that. Now, the dad in this book is a time travel author. So he wrote a book about two brothers that time travel, and then they made a show from it. So he's quite wealthy. So Alice goes to a private school, and when she goes back to being 16, of course she goes to school. So yeah, so this was pretty good. 4 stars. It would have got more. It would have got a 5, except for there was parts I just didn't even like some of the writing style. Just kind of, I just didn't like. And then some of the parts about the time travel was kind of like I was skipping through it. Hey, I'm just keeping it real, y'all. When you read a book, do you sometimes skip? I do. Especially if I'm like, okay, the story's pretty good, but it's a little bit wordy. So I'll skip sections. Yeah, then I'm like, okay, I want to finish it, but this section's really boring. So I'll skip a whole chapter sometimes. It's all good, y'all. It's all good. Anyway, 4 stars. Thanks, friends. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget to check back for more book videos coming up soon. Thanks, friends.